Hello and welcome to Midday. Today we are joined by Hemal Shah, a visionary founder and principal architect of Horizon Architects. Hemal, a very warm welcome
Hi.
to Midday. You have done more than 500 projects pan India. Where did this wonderful journey begin?
I come up from a very timid background. My dad was a diamond broker, and we always had this thing about getting rich. I had an architect in my building called Mr. Rasik Hingo, a very senior architect, and I used to always get inspired by how he also had struggled from his bottom to right at the top, and got great respect in the fraternity and around. So I said, why not become an architect? And I was very good at my drawings, get sketches, and my mom used to encourage me to do drawings and sketches. And so I thought, let's join architecture because I have this knack of doing good sketches. So then I started architecture, joined the NATA and joined Mithibai, and then I went to Rashna College. That start put me on a very good platform to do great things in life.
So, when you started off your career journey, was there someone who really inspired you ahead to, succeed, take up a bigger role?
So first, I'll mention two of my gurus. They've done a wonderful job. There was this Hindi Marathi teacher which I had. She taught me on a level which I never imagined I could do Hindi Marathi. She was called Anuradha teacher, and she's still there. I got 85% in my 10th standard Marathi only because of her. And she told me that nothing is impossible. So that taught me that life is ups and downs. You can fail in the subject and you can excel also. So the effort you take is equal to the result you get. After which I joined Jayesh Shah, JKNRI, as an architect, as an intern, and he inspired me to connect the dots with the lines. So I learned all my planning principles from Mr. Jayesh Shah. I really thank to him. And then I joined Sanjay Puri Architect, obviously, and he was an inspiration, and he's still an inspiration. He told me architecture is not about doing this and doing that. Architecture is about doing anything and everything you want in life. It's an expression of life. So just go 120% and do your best. So that is what I learned from Sanjay sir.
So on one hand, Hemal, you learn, certain things from Sanjay sir, and then it's you. And I'm sure each architect has his own style of work, his own style of functioning, and his or her own expertise. When
Absolutely.
it comes to you, what is your expertise?
So my expertise is fitting into things that nobody imagines things come from. So I'm a master at planning, architecture, and vision. So what I do is when a client thinks that this is impossible to fit in, this FSF won't fit in, these number of tenants won't fit
You
in.
take it as a challenge.
This is where I have a smile on my face. I want to see that surprise element on the client's face saying that ye bad gaya. So the moment a client gives me a project and he is like very disheartened कि this is impossible to do, ये हमने 4 जगह try कर लिए हुआ नहीं है. I sit on the computer the next day in the morning 3 o'clock, and by 7 I make sure I've got all the 4 options, 5 options, 10 options, 15 options. I am not getting tired. I give 200% on the project and make sure the client is returning with a smile. That is my forte.
Did any building, any structure really inspired you that maybe someday I will make something like this?
I used to always go to VT station. I really loved the building. I currently also I love the building. It is
A very emotional connect with Mumbaikars.
yeah. Mumbai is my heart. I love Mumbai. Mazi Mumbai hai. This is the way it should be. I love the city. It has given me a lot. So Mumbai has also always inspired me to make good buildings.
Talking about the good buildings, talking about your work, Hemal, from all the completed projects that you have done so far, which is the closest to your heart?
So I've done a lot of good buildings. I have a building called KL Inaya. It's at Juhu. It's one of the rarest combination of luxury and planning. It's got a 4,000 square feet floor plate, which was unheard of in Juhu. It's got a completely flat slab. You can join any of the flats anywhere. There are no beams, no columns. So I love that building. One of the other buildings I love is DLH Dawn, which is at Khar. It is one of the fantastic landmarks we've created. It's really eye-catching. If you go through Linking Road at Khar, you will not miss that building.
You have majorly worked in Mumbai, and Mumbai is a layered city, right? So, how do you deal with this challenge? Because there are pretty intense regulations.
Absolutely.
So, how does it really come in the way of your work, and how do you deal with this?
So I take the challenge as a gift because the more challenges you have, the more better it is to compete, to make designs and sustainable architecture and good design in such rules is really really difficult. Making good elevations, the compliances are very high. There's a lot of approval initiative which we have to take. We have to fight with the licensing architect. The client has some other demand. The sales people have some other demands. The RCC guys are different. The MEP guys are different. But we try to integrate everything into one. And out of this experience of 25 years, now I've realized that we've mastered the art of planning and elevation combined into one. So considering all the points at one point of time and combining everything into one is our forte. And I love doing what I do.
Is there any particular project that transformed your perspective on urban development?
Yes, we done a master planning for a layout at Thana. It was the first of its kind SRA project in Thana. There's no SRA project. Till date, it is the biggest SRD development in Thana in the entire of MMR. So we rehoused around 550 tenements and those were SRA units. It was a hutment on site. And the moment we handed over the keys to them, people cried on site because the SRA building was equally well designed compared to the sale building. And when everybody occupied the building and we went to the building and visited their houses, they were crying. The ladies were giving us mithai कि आपने बहुत अच्छा कर दी, हमारा flat बहुत अच्छा बनाया है, planning बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. That was a defining moment in my life. I thought that redevelopment is the way to go. People are getting new houses. The sale building guys are getting better houses, better amenities. The developer is also getting his profit and we are earning out of it. So we are doing social justice and in connection with real estate development also. So
Right.
I love that thing.
Right.
So that project changed my entire vision towards redevelopment.
But with the amount of redevelopment, the scope, what Mumbai has currently, I'm sure it would not be very cakewalk also. So, what do you think is the biggest challenge when it comes to redevelopment for you as an architect?
The biggest challenge today is consuming FSI because the government has opened the doors of FSI. They've thought that let everybody prosper. So consuming so much FSI into one, the plot remains the same, the land area remains the same. Bombay is a small city compared to the kind of population it has to cater to. We are catering to 1.2 crore people, where some states in India are only 1.2 CR. So considering that, the land area, we have to go vertical. So not everywhere you can go vertical. There are places like Santa Cruz, Juhu, Parle, where the high aviation issues are there. So the major challenge to me is consuming FSI yet making the building very palpable, very beautiful and functional also. So that is the challenge for me.
To deal with this challenge, have you drawn your inspiration from any city or any region, in the world that has always inspired you that I can replicate this when it comes to Mumbai?
I visited New York in 2010 or so, and the kind of space management which New York and Dubai have done. I also visited Dubai. So if you see the development in Dubai and New York, they are consuming 10, 11, 12 FSI, 15 FSI. Now currently we are talking about 4 FSI, 5 FSI in Bombay. So we're not doing overdone of FSI as we think. Everybody thinks that Mumbai is consuming more FSI. No doubt we need to make the infrastructure for it FSI. But if you go to Dubai, you go to New York, they're already making 25 FSI. They're making wider roads. They're making beautiful sewage systems and everything right to consume that FSI. So it has to be a balance between consuming FSI and making good infrastructure. It cannot be only one.
Let's talk about your creativity when it it comes to these architecture projects, because I'm sure, Himal, this requires lot of creative juices flowing into the work, about the designs, about the structure. So how do you keep your creativity alive? Because all the artists get saturated at certain point of time.
So my creative juices come from my team. I've got a fantastic young team. The more young team you have, the less experience they have, but the kind of enthusiasm they share is unbelievable. So their hunger to learn more gives me enthusiasm every day. I'd never feel disappointed with my team because I feel that even if they're doing mistakes, they are trying to solve it. They're trying to do better at it. So that always gives me very creative ideas again and again. And I want to go to the office, work with them, and I'm addicted to working with them. I'm not a workaholic, but my team makes sure that they perform to their best. If I'm expecting 100%, they give that 200%. So I love going to office, and that keeps the creative juices flowing. Obviously, I've got two gurus. I've got a guru called Mr. Jayesh Shah, whom I learned the entire design process with, and I've learned my design process with Mr. Sanjay Puri. So those inspirations are there. I've seen them working day in and day out. And when I imagine I'm doing only 50% of what they used to do. So I always get my creative juices and inspiration from them.
Right, right. Hemal, on one side you have your gurus, people from whom you drew your inspiration, and then today you're working with the youngsters, and you have been in this industry for so long. How do you think times have changed when it comes to architecture and what people look for?
The awareness about Vastu, the awareness about planning, the awareness about space optimization is much more. This generation of buyers is very educated. They know the subject. Earlier, people used to just see the facade of the building and say, "Oh, it's a good building. It's a good developer. Let's buy the home." Now they come to see the planning. They see the intricacies of the design. They see the location of the toilet. They see the spaciousness of the design, and everything is very well read of. Earlier, it never used to be the case. Up till say 2018, 19, 20, before COVID and post COVID. Before COVID, things were not very aware. People were not, even the developers were not very aware. They should just think, Hemal bhai, acha plan bana do, and they were very happy. But now, post COVID and post everything getting online, people are well read. They're well aware. You can go to Google and check. They can go to ChatGPT and check whether the plans are good or bad.
And I'm sure they'll be checking compasses also for the
Absolutely.
directions.
Even a 1 BHK buyer is looking for Vastu. So now Vastu is what we've done is in our offices, we've integrated Vastu for each and every project which we do. Irrespective of the developer appointing the Vastu consultant or not, we've got an in-house Vastu consultant called Madhura ma'am. She's a very renowned Vastu consultant and she's my classmate. So we work together on all the projects and we make sure that every project of ours is Vastu compliant.
Hemal, at this point, I really have this question. Now, South is a direction which is always dreaded by most of the people in India. Now, this is a different challenge because when it comes to directions, you have a certain plot, you have your building which is rising, and then you have your regulations also by the government. How do you deal with such rules which say कि South में ये खिड़की नहीं होनी चाहिए, दरवाजा main door नहीं होना चाहिए, and all these factors, because I'm sure it would be really tricky to deal with putting everything together.
Yeah, it is difficult, but we don't take it like a challenge or something. We take it like an enjoyment because now we've spent 25 years into this. So now we know the trick. We know how to get the best extraction for the plot and give the developer and the end user the best experience. Because I feel Vastu is not a gimmick. Vastu is a very real science, and we need to respect that science as a science, not as a fashion or everybody is doing so I should do it. It is not that. It is about following the thing which should be done. It is about following the sciences, the directions, the wind directions, the sun direction, and the whole thing is not about placing windows in the south or not placing windows in the south. It is about placing right things at the right time so that the end user inside the house gets the best experience. So we are very familiar with it and we enjoy it. It's not that it's a difficulty. It's a dream come true for us.
Let's talk about the trends today. So, what is trending when it's come to the architectural space?
So
Let's talk about Mumbai.
Mumbai, I think a lot of things are trending. Going high rise is trending. Parametric architecture is trending. Vastu compliancy is the bottom line. It has to work. Then sustainable architecture. I think these four things are going to trend in the next 5-10 years.
Right.
There is no other way. We need to house 1.2 CR people, as we told, and we need to make them comfortable. And Bombay is one of the best skylines in the world. We've done only 10% of the skyline right now. If you see, currently the Bombay map has only 10% space occupied by high-rise buildings or even lesser. If you see the floor plate, it is salt pans, it is complete sea view on 3 sides. Now we have the infrastructure coming up. There's a new Bombay airport coming up. Bombay is going to develop like anything because of the infrastructure government has taken. The initiatives that the government has taken are really good. The buildings are going to move around the infrastructure, not only focused on Andheri, Bandra,
Right.
Khar or western suburb. Entire Bombay is going to be different in the next 5-10 years. I can say you that.
Hemal, since you mentioned the salt pans, there was a news that there will be section of people that will be rehabilitated on the salt pans. As an architect, do you think salt pans are really safe enough for people to be rehabilitated or buildings to be constructed?
No. I don't think they should be done. And salt pan is some percentage of land. There is a vast portion of the Bombay which is still unoccupied and unredeveloped. If you see the Dharavi development, that itself is around 100 acres of land. So there is other land available. Why destroy the environment?
Right.
So let's not touch the salt pans.
Where do you think in Mumbai what would be the areas where do you think there is a lot of scope which can be transformed into the urban
I think
legacy?
the areas between Boisar to the upper MMR region, the new Bombay which is coming up, the next to Vashi and next to Uran, that is a huge chunk of land which is no CRZ, no NDZ and no salt pan. That is going to be developed. It's the connectivity is important. If the connectivity is there, we can do wonders.
You also mentioned sustainability in your answer. So, how are you really integrating sustainable practices when it comes to your work?
If we have a look at the project called DLH GAMS, we are doing one at Linking Road, Khar. So in that, we've not used glass. Surprisingly, it's a commercial building, but we not use glass because glass is a fancy term to use. Our climate is not conducive to glass usage. We don't want to get heat into the building. We want to get warmth into the building and save the building from the sunlight. So we are trying to use more and more concrete and combination of glass in concrete rather than only glass. So that's how we are integrating everything into from the sustainable approach also, because air conditioning is a cost. It is killing the environment. If you see our Maiwan buildings, the entire concrete shells are getting heated so much that air conditioning is getting used 20% more. So what we think is we should a median between air conditioning, Maiwan and sustainability. We can't just bend down into one genre of the thing. We have to look at every aspect of the thing.
What are some of the practices or trends you feel very much possible in the near future, which you think are coming up, the trends in the architectures?
I think the future trend is going to be 3D printing, because currently we're making buildings block by block. There'll be a time wherein entire structures will be custom made as per design and 3D printed on somewhere else in the factory and fitted on site. So the construction time says currently at high rise is taking 2 years to complete. I am sure that in the next 5 to 10 years, people will construct high rises in 60 days, 70 days, 80 days.
Right, but because even I have seen 3D printed houses are a reality. I've seen people replicating it.
Absolutely.
So, how soon do you think this will be a reality in India as well?
I think for resorts and bungalows, it is still going on and it has started very well. But for high rise, it will be difficult. But it will be a combination of 3D printing and steel construction, I think. So that is coming soon, I think. We are trying to build a high rise building, which is a commercial building in steel and a combination of 3D printing, wherein we are trying to do the closure of the house, as in the facade, in 3D printed panels rather than glass. So that is an experiment we are trying to do.
Talking about the upcoming trends, of course, we can't ignore AI.
Yeah.
So, are you really on the boat? Have you already integrated AI into your functioning?
100%. We've started 1 year back. And earlier, I should think that my ways of doing things, like what my gurus have taught me, is the best way to do things. But as I got in touch with my younger guys, the new team members, they started using AI. So I said, "What is this?" Okay, sir, हम लोग एक render का option बना रहे हैं. I said, "What is the render option?" So he, synced the AI into our office and worked on it. And there was a lot of difference with what he was doing and what we used to do earlier. So जो काम पहले 2 दिन में हो रहा था या 3 दिन में या 7 days में हो रहा था,
Oh
now
my
it
God.
is happening in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So AI is 100% on, and the future is AI. We have started in the office. Excel sheets are not done yet now. We are doing calculations on AI. We use 3D in AI, walkthroughs in AI, animations in AI, what not in AI.
When it comes to customers' taste and preferences, has AI been able to help you in that? Because I'm sure customers can be pretty choosy,
Yes,
complicated, difficult.
Now the customers is very traveled. All my clients have traveled to China, UK, USA, Europe. So they've seen all the best buildings. So now they want to see a lot of options. Earlier I used to be like, this is the option which is the best. I used to tell them, then they used to say, okay, fine, I think this is looking good. But now they want more options. Like सुबह एक option final किया तो शाम को बोलते हैं कि और एक option दो. So it is very difficult to create and multiple options and on different taste, different kind of
Satisfied.
architecture, vernacular, some other style, Art Deco style, modern style. So to create so many options, I don't think I have any other option. And they want it very fast also. ऐसा नहीं कि if they've asked for option, they'd give us time. They don't give us time. Our Indian customers don't give us time. They say, Hemant भाई 2 दिन में दे दो, 3 दिन में दे दो या 1 दिन में दे दो. So that kind of attitude, the only option I have is integrating AI into my vocabulary so that things go very fast. And fast, we don't want to spoil the quality. We want to give A++ work. But the speed has to be very fast now.
What are the customers preferring these days for all the conversations you have had? What is the most popular option that you have seen in the recent times?
Everybody wants to make a very modern, a very straight line building. Nowadays, people are not trying to do complicated structures. People want to do fast construction, less maintenance, and the vision, the look of the building has to be very nice.
What do you mean by less maintenance and what ways?
Every city is very dusty. So the soil is there flowing around all around. The smoke is there, the pollution is there. So the every particles, all the oxide particles, they get stuck onto the paint, they get stuck onto the tiles. So that people want to avoid, because people know when they hand over to the society is not so progressive that they will maintain it to the way the developer has given it. And now people are spending more on the facade. They're using tiles, they're using different kind of cladding materials. We've tied up with 2-3 good cladding companies wherein they give different options compared to ACP or tiles or something different. So people want to do different thing at different levels. I have got a client in Andheri who's clad the entire thing all around with 4x2 tiles, which was never heard of. All the corners, in the inside, everything, it's covered with tiles. They've dry cladded it. So now the building is optimized for 12 years, 15 years maintenance without doing any paint. So that
Very
is a
easy
kind
to
of
clean as
very
well, I'm
easy to
sure.
clean. And the building looks fresh even after 5 years, 10 years. If you see the paint buildings, after 2 years, it looks like as if it's a 20-year-old building. But now people want to make the building everlasting also.
The demands that you get, I'm sure there would be times when they have come up with a demand and then it has changed overnight and then the plan has changed. So what kind of difficult situations as an architect you have been through when it comes to keeping your customers happy?
So we've made projects which have been in the design stage for the last 2 years. If you say 2-3 years, we're only doing designs, and still the customer is not happy. The things are getting changed, the plots are getting changed. It's I cannot.
Really frustrating, I'm sure.
It is not frustrating. It is in fact enjoyable, because every time the situation changes, the client comes to us saying that Hemal bhai, you have the solution. So he thinks that मेरे पास कोई जादू की छड़ी है and I'm going to use it and change the whole thing for him. And that belief which I see in his eyes, that is a satisfaction with me. That even though the things have changed for the last 2 years, he's still paying us, and it's a very big layout. Of course, it's a 1 lakh square meter layout at Malad. So that itself is, we are rehousing around 7,000 slum dwellers. So obviously the things are going to take time. It is frustrating that my team has got exhausted. We are doing different iterations, working day in and day out for 7, 8, 10 days. Again, the things get changed again. So it's a part of life now.
If you can give an example.
We are doing this layout for a company called DGS. It's a very renowned brand in the western suburbs. We're doing a 7,000 family relocation rehabilitation scheme for slum, and it's entirely contoured. The site is contouring contour means the levels in the site is 0 to 15-20 meters, and at every point the site is sloping down. So it's a very challenging site, and to rehouse so many people, so many shops, it's got almost like 300 shops and 7,000 people, and the sale component is going high, it's rocket high, and we have to consume every FSI also, so all FSI also. So I think it's a very enormous task we have at our hand, but very happy that the clients are very comforting and very down to earth, and they understand our situation and we understand theirs, and we're doing a milestone product, I think.
How do you deal with criticisms on your way, Himal? Because I'm sure not always they would be good. There are unhappy people also on the way.
So you can't keep all the people happy all the time. But we think that criticism is the only way we understand, we study and we learn what to do best. And we've taken criticism as a very welcoming thing, because I in fact I asked the client, sir, हमारा service पसंद आया, do you want to change anything in our service? Is that the best building I could make for you? Because ultimately, I think architecture is a very big responsibility.
Right.
If the client has put so much faith, so much money into a project, if he's spending 100 CR, I, as a person, have the responsibility, and I'm the captain of the ship. I need to do justice to the building. If I am not doing it, that building is going to stay for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. And for a person inhabiting the building for 70 years, I am the person responsible for the entire design, the location, and the system which I want to build. So I'm not making a single flat. I'm making a entire universe for him. So I need to be very conscious about my work.
What is your dream architecture project like?
We're doing this bus depot station at Lucknow. It's called Charbagh bus station, and it's a enormous project. It's a public-private participation project wherein I am working with the government of Uttar Pradesh, and we are making bus station and commercial above it. It's a mall and a bus station combo. It's a dream project, and I think it'll be a landmark project, one of its kind in the entire of India.
Is there any building or architecture around the globe which has always inspired you or still inspires you to create something like that?
So the Al Burj at Dubai, I think it's one of the best buildings I've seen. I think those 3 hotels at Singapore, the 3 tower building at Singapore, I don't remember the name. It's a very wonderful building I've seen. The Taj Mahal, I think it's a history imbibed into architecture. Yeah, it's an architectural marble. If you see the photograph, you don't see the awe into it, but when you go to the site and see the structure like that, it's a beautiful structure. Architecture is everywhere. Even nature is architecture, and We must get inspired by anything and everything, and everything has an element of surprise, and that is the wow we wish to create in our architecture.
What is your vision like from 10 years from now?
So we want to be a pan-India company. We want to be a very niche company wherein we give solutions which nobody else gives. Currently, also we are the similar company, but we want to be known as a company where we have the answer to every problem a developer has. We want to be known for our quality, our work, and create landmarks wherein we create a legacy in history. Like I want to be feeling great about my work 15 years down the line. I don't want to be like regretting that अरे वो उससे better किया होता. So every day I work, I want to give my best work.
Talking about your company, Himal, you have been leading a team of more than 60 plus people. So, what is your approach to mentorship?
So I want all knowledge to flow into every person's head. I don't have a hierarchy system in my office. The team leaders, the juniors, and the juniors, everybody is connected to me. I make it a point that even the junior wants to interact with me, and the team leader also interacts with me. Generally, I see a system wherein the principal architect is only the architect who's getting all the accolades and the awards. I make sure that every team member is measured to the success which I receive. And I want to interact with the interns. I want to interact with every team member, and all my knowledge or any other knowledge which we have is distributed everywhere. So I make sure that I want all my team members to be at same level compared to my or better than me.
That's so beautiful. Talking about Mumbai as a city, what kind of architectural evolution would you like to see in Mumbai?
So I think all the structures, all the buildings are getting very similar. All the language of architecture is only chhaja, 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 and similar color schemes. And I want to see iconic buildings. I want to be seeing the skyline as is something. We always compare our skyline to Shanghai or Dubai. I think we should make a skyline in such a way that our skyline is referred to in China or Dubai or anywhere else in the world, saying that our skyline should be similar to what Bombay is. So we want to see iconic architecture. My aim is to build every structure different from the other.
Any defining moment in your career that you would like to throw light upon, Himal?
I had just passed out from college, and I was standing in my building compound, and an architect, senior architect, met me. He used to stay in the same building. He told me, "What are you doing, bacha?" I said, "Uncle, I'm doing 10 interior projects. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." He said, "Interior projects?" I said, "Yeah." "So you've done architecture, right?" So I said, "Yeah, I've done architecture from Rashna College." So he said, "Kid, beta, this is not the scale you should work on. Your scale of working is a huge. You should work on big scale projects. You should work on buildings. आपको मिस्त्री के साथ झगड़ा करने के लिए थोड़ी ही पढ़ाई करना बोला था मैंने. तो he like you should do architecture. Interiors नहीं करना है." You won't believe, the next day I left all my interior projects. I handed over to my mistri saying that, and to the client saying that this mistri is going to complete the project. Next day we returned all the 10 projects we did, and I joined Sanjay Puri Architects. So that moment where I joined Sanjay Puri Architects was a turning point in my life. After that, I never looked back. I never did interiors. I was so passionate about my work, and I understood that this is a passion which I have. I cannot do interiors or any other thing. I want to do architecture. And with Sanjay Puri sir and the way I worked with him, it was an unbelievable journey. Till today, I remember the time where I changed that track from interiors or doing something else into architecture. And then that was a turning point of my life.
So, any takeaway, any life lesson that you would like to impart to our audiences from this wonderful experience that you had?
The direction is more important than speed. If your direction is correct and your enthusiasm is there and your hard work is there, nothing can challenge you. I had nothing when I joined in. I had hardly one or two members, and pre-COVID I was with 15 members. Post-COVID we are 70 people right now. There's no looking back and there's no disheartening thing, but I think you should not lose hope. Keep on working, keep on doing, set goals which you can achieve, and you can set goals which you cannot achieve also, but still your hard work will pay ultimately. I get up at 4 in the morning and start working on designs because that is my passion. It is not that something I feel it is a मजा नहीं आ रहा है या कुछ tiring लग रहा है. Getting at 4, starting working on sketches, on drawings, it's a joy to me.
What keeps your spirit alive, Himal? Because when generally in life when people face challenges, they get criticism, they get bogged down, they feel demoralized, and which is okay, which is very natural for a human being to feel.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of pick yourself up?
So my family plays a very important role. My mother, my father, my wife, my son, and my brother. A lot of other people have set very high hopes on me. So there, when I see their faces, I understand that when I have invested so much in my career, they have invested their entire life into me. So that investment is what I want to justify. And I see the hopes in that 70 people who are working with me. The expectation on their eyes like, सर कुछ और जादू करेंगे, सर कुछ और जादू करेंगे, कोई नया project लाएंगे, and then we'll work on those projects. So that sparkle in the eyes of the new intern which has come and expecting something from me, that keeps me going. And of course my family.
So, Hemal, to all those new interns and aspiring architects, if there's one message that you would like to give.
Just keep going. The way Steve Jobs used to say, just keep going. Work as if this is the last day of your life. So don't imagine what will happen next, what will happen after 1 year, what will happen after 6 years, what will happen, what has happened before. Just forget, erase all the memories, collect everything which you have and focus only on one thing. Whenever you are sitting for work, just give your best, focus on it. Don't try to handle 4, 5, multitask 15 things at a time. कि खाना क्या बनाना है, घर पे जाना है, ट्रेन पकड़ना है. All that you leave aside, just focus on that one thing which you're doing right now. Because the only measure to success is focus. People who've excelled in work, if you see all the greats, the Elon Musks or anybody, the Mukesh Ambanis, they've focused on one thing. They want to be the greatest in what they do. Just try to do that.
Very profound indeed, Hemal. Just one last question. If you were not an architect, what would Hemal have done?
I am a very automobile geek. I love cars. I had put my form into Sabo Siddique College of Engineering for automobile engineering. I almost had joined it, but I got some good guidance and I joined Trustnara Sunset College of Architecture, which was a great place to be. And so I would have been in automobile engineering.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Hemal.
Thank you.
Was
Thank you.
so insightful talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
And you wonderful people, for more such insightful conversations, stay tuned to Midday.
Your window to India and the world. Midday. Local Pulse, Global Perspective.